Okay, so it's around 7:30. That's why it's still pretty dark out. It's about autumn, so it's the sun comes out a lot later in autumn. um, so putting on my psychology hat now. Um, so um, my other video, I put on my physics hat. I'm putting on my psychology hat because my professors are. It's my vacation, but my professors are like, you know, we have questions. So, yeah, I want to be on my vacation, but so I'm trying to work for them. So I put on my artist hat, my art hat, um, things like that. So the difference between that for Nicole and anyone who has multiple personality disorder or they're stupid, right? They just don't understand yet. And you don't stay stupid forever. It's just when you're stupid, you make mistakes, and then we talk about it. That's all. And then you just move on from the mistake. So for Nicole, just think of it as a class. Like, I don't understand something. Can you explain? It doesn't mean you're stupid forever. You just made a stupid mistake one time. Um, and I like this hour. I like when I was in San Francisco. I just love that gloomy. I love it. I love that gloomy. I don't know. When I was in high school or in grade school, I always loved the rainy days. I just love it. I love the darkness. You stay indoors. You draw. You color. You do indoor activities. I love springtime too. I was born in spring. I was born in March. But I've learned to love that gloomy morning, those gloomy mornings. I love. Those are the mornings I remember in high school, where it's like it's gloomy, it's dark out, you don't want to wake up, and you're driving to school, and it's not zero period, but you have homeroom around 8 o'clock or so, or 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. But it's like this: it's really dark out, and you you just gotta wake up. Um, so learning takes a while. So, in preschool, you don't learn AP physics. Right? You take a while to get to that. Um, so the difference between, putting on my psychology hat and my physics hat and my artist hat is that I know what I'm doing. I know when I'm doing it. When you're stupid or have multiple personality, you don't know that you're doing it. That's the difference. So, for example, an actor knows that she or he is acting, and then they can stop. When you have multiple personality disorder, you don't ever stop. You jump from one act to another act to another act, and you just don't know which one is real. None of them are real. None. You're just acting. So that's the difference. You don't know that you're acting. So putting on my psychology hat, this is for Disney Channel promoting our partnership with schools. I'm acting like my psychology professor right now. Very, very in my thoughts. Very intuitive, and look at me, I'm so important. That's the image I got from my psychology professor. Like, I'm such an important person. And you see, when I was explaining physics, it was very hyper energy, and that's what I got from my physics professor. He's just a lot of energy. He was throwing formulas at me. I'm like, what are you doing? I don't take. I told you I'm a fine arts major or um, alum. I was a fine arts major. And he still threw formulas at me. I'm like, what are you doing? Hurt my head. I'm in preschool. I never took physics. And this is college physics he was throwing at me. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you trying to hurt me? So on that note, transition, what happened to Nicole and the Egyptians and DeRosa is it was a peak in intelligence or experience that they never experienced before. It was just a quick peak. That's dangerous, right? Put you don't give a preschooler AP physics, right? They don't know the purpose of it, and they're just learning just to learn, and then they'll make mistakes. They need to learn the purpose, right? Just like education has to have a purpose, or else you see people use education the wrong way. They become hackers, or they endanger people, and they claim themselves smart because they went to school. You need to know the purpose. So that's what happened with Nicole and stuff, where they got a peak in an experience that they've never had before. So the Egyptians got a peak in intelligence, and the Pharisees got a peak in love with Jesus. And Nicole got a peak in living with a boy. Never done it before. And DeRosa got a peak in superstar student. Never had it before. And because they've never prepared for it, you end up doing something stupid. So that in summary, that's what happened. So you want to gradually teach people something new, gradually. You don't, when you're coaching, like, are you stupid? Like, you should be knowing this already. That's not the case. When you go from high school to college to pros, you're always learning something new. Right? So you want to go like, oh, in high school, you learn this way, but in college, you learn this. Okay, in college, you learn this, but in the pros, you learn this. You want to gradually get them there. You don't want them to feel stupid because they'll just quit on themselves. So that's why with students, even though they make a mistake, I encourage them to keep trying. Because I don't ever want them to feel stupid, like they're incapable of learning. Yes, I challenge them and I tell them their flaws, but I encourage them to become better. Like here's what you did wrong, but here's how you can do better. But you can do better if you want to. So I don't even force them. I'm like, if you want to, you can. If you want to. I don't even force them. Like the professors are forcing me. I'm a professional, so I handle it in a professional manner. Like, I don't want to. I'm on vacation, but I am a professional, like you. So just think of it like Nicole and the Egyptians and DeRosa can hit all the balls, the curve balls, the knuckle balls, but then a fastball comes in, a 90 mile per hour fastball comes in, and they just strike out every time. You just need to practice. So that's all that happened. So with a fastball, they just can't handle it. So still in my psychology hat, I took one psychology class at Delta College, at a junior college. community college, junior college, Delta College is the same title. Um, and what I remember was he was really focused on Sigmund Freud and how the brain and the environment um, interact. So there's Pavlov's dog, where if Pavlov rang a bell, the dog starts salivating. So it's the brain is interacting with its environment. So that's what I remember. So if I do a PhD with my professor, because my professors want me to do a PhD in physics. Of course, in art, I'm doing one. I'm doing the painting, the digital painting. You don't know you're stupid. It's based on Vietnam. It's based in Vietnam. Um, and I like the painting so far. I'm still working on it. It's a 2 year program. So in physics, I'm probably gonna do a 2 year program, and then in psychology, my psychology professor wants me in sports science. Like all the professors want me to do a PhD with them. So in business, pharmacy, if they want, in engineering, software engineering, or engineering in general, I can do that. So I'm probably gonna be in school for a while. Um, just like I'm probably gonna be president for 8 years. I'm prepared for that. I'm looking at the hype right now. I'm like, it's probably gonna be an 8 year. It's gonna be a 2 term presidency, 8 years, because everyone's pretty hyped about it. So I want to summarize my presidency. I don't want to be a president that tries to plan too big that they can't handle. You only have 8 years. Just like college, you only have 4 years. You need to pick a major and stick to it. Pick a major and stick to it. Being president is the same thing. Pick one idea that represents you. It doesn't have to represent the world, it just represents you, and make that work for 1 year. Whether it's healthcare, jobs. I would go smaller than that. That's too broad. I would focus on um, how can I make education more marketable. That's something easier. Like marketing is easy. You get on YouTube and that's marketing. You can do that every day for 8 years. So that's easy, and it doesn't cost anything. I mean, it probably costs an iPad, but or video they use video. I use iPad, but they use actual cameras. But other than that, you know, a camera and a laptop, that's all you need. Very cheap to market. You're already famous, so you can use your platform to market education. That's something very easy to do, you know? So that's my focus. I'm probably gonna focus on marketing education. That's my plan as president. So there you go. I'm done. um. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna market education, whether it's esports, Madden, playing video games, reading more, physical education. I'm just gonna record myself, post it on YouTube, and that's it. It's cheap, very cheap and easy to do for 8 years. 8 years. That's it. Very simple. And that's what my presidency will be about. Just focus on marketing not even improving education. Not even improving it. Not putting money into education, anything like that. No. Not improving education. Marketing education. Right? Use what you have. Education system. Use what you have. You don't need more money. You don't need more money. I mean, teacher salaries can be improved, but that's not my focus. I don't know how to do that. As president, I don't know how to do that. So that's not my focus. Complain all you want, but that's not my focus. I don't know what to do. But in the education system, use what you got. Just use what you got. Just like I'm using what I have to market education, to get kids to want to go to school, stay in school, and graduate from school. So that's my plan as president for 8 years. That's it. Very simple. Like, that's my major. So for my psychology PhD, I'm probably gonna do it on just what I can remember. It doesn't have to be anything important. It's just it's important to me. It's just what I remember from psychology class is Sigmund Freud's ego. I still don't understand that. He titled it as an ego, but from what I'm understanding and on my research, it's more of ignorance. It's like ignorance and jealousy. So we can we can still use the title ego, but it branches down to what is it? It's ignorance plus jealousy becomes ego. We can do that. If we don't want to get rid of ego, if everyone still enjoys the term ego, we can keep the word ego, but it branches down to the definition of ignorance and jealousy together, and it becomes an ego. I just say it becomes anger, right? So ego and anger is the same thing. So so ignorance and jealousy creates anger or ego. It's just anger. It creates anger. So Nicole and DeRosa and the Egyptians, they were ignorant and also jealous. So Nicole was jealous of Zoe and their family doing so well, and became anger, and then a burst of anger became hurting men, and then they're shocked by it, and they just kept lying. It's like, I did it for a purpose. I did it for a purpose. That was just a lie. It was just a burst of anger out of ignorance and jealousy, a burst of anger, and then you accidentally hurt a child. Accidentally. So there's no fate. Oh, this is fate to happen, and there's none of that. It was just a simple mistake in preschool. So that's what I want to work on as my PhD on ego. I basically have it down. I just need more research behind it. But it's ignorance and jealousy. So where does ignorance come from? So how can I further the research? Where does ignorance come from? So you just keep branching down. Like, where does it come from? Where does ignorance come from? So we're trying to find the big bang of ignorance. Where does it come from? Where does ignorance come from? And where does jealousy come from? Right? So Sigmund Freud created ego, but it's like, what causes it? What is the big bang of ego? Using physics terms. So what causes ignorance to create jealousy, ignorance to anger? What causes that? And I don't know. I'm gonna leave that to the 2 years PhD program. And we can work on sports science and, naming teams that are insensitive. So when I took a sports science class, my sports science professor was talking about the Redskins. Like, that's a very insensitive name to have. And she's like, what do you think, man? And I'm like, first time I'm in sports science. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I've been doing art my whole life. I don't know. And she's like, okay. Um, but she was very tearful about it. Like it felt like it was something important to her. She didn't have the answers to it, but it felt something important to her. That's really insensitive. Um, to use the Redskins as the name of your team publicly. She was tearing up about it. She's very passionate about it. So it's that's what I remember. So that's probably something. What I would focus on the PhD is when marketing a team in sports. Try to be a little bit more sensitive about it. Um, um, because you might be hurting people without knowing it. You might think, "Oh, it's cool. It's just a name. It doesn't mean anything," but it might. It might mean a lot to Native Americans or whoever you're offending, right? So Nicole was like, "It's cool." DeRosa, "It's cool. I'm just gonna do it." Egyptian, "It's cool. I'm just gonna do it." Like the Templars and Bohemian Club and the Illuminati, "It's cool. I'm just gonna do it." Right? The Pharisees trying to copy Caesar, right? Like what they did to Caesar is cool. I'm gonna do it too, right? But it might come off insensitive. So that's a PhD I'll work on in sports science. Um, and right now, in growing up, so growing up, um, I don't know if I was feminine. I was more ignorant. Like I just don't know what's going on. I'm just a kid. Like I don't know what's going on. And being a boy, just you just deal with what boys go through. And it's always questioning your manhood. You're not man enough. You're not man enough. Um, and being Asian, I don't see any Asian representation. And I'm like, I gotta be man. I gotta be more manly. I gotta play sports. I gotta get into boxing. I gotta fight for myself. I gotta be more manly. Now, getting into womanhood, I'm studying women. I feel I'm not woman enough. Like so, I wasn't manly enough. Now I don't feel woman enough. And what woman enough um, means to me, what I see is they're very caring, they're very kind, they're very complimentary. So you see moms like you hear all the time, "I want to be a better mom. I want to be a better mom." And you see girls like, "I want to be a better girlfriend." Like to guys, dads and brothers and and boyfriends, they're like, "What? Be a better mom, be a better girlfriend? How? Isn't it just you're a mom and that's it? Isn't it just you're a girlfriend and that's it?" And not to the girls. The girls like, "No, there's so much more you can do." And I'm watching them and I'm learning from them. And to me, it's just like, what are you talking about? Honestly, I'm like, what is a better mom? Honestly. And I hear it every day. Like my multiverse moms, like they call me like all the time and stuff. And my sisters, the Brennan family, like they call me all the time. Like Catherine calls me all the time in college, right now. Not in Pacific, right now. Like she calls me all the time. I'm like, what are you doing? And to my mom and to my sisters and to Catherine, like Margaret and stuff, like they show me videos of them crying that I'm going to college and stuff, and I'm like, It's all new to me. If you're like looking at my videos going like, what? I'm watching your videos going, what? Right? With Greek life mummifying me alive, I'm like, what are you doing? I'm not used to that. Right? The whole family, like we were pretty close, but we had space, but we were close knit. So I'm like, is it like that? Is it like family? But it's weird, it's in public. That's what was weird to me. Like they did it in public. They didn't even care that people saw that they did that. Like they literally would go over there to make sure Min is still mummified. To make sure. The Greek life at Pacific, they would check every day to make sure no one goes in there to free Min. To make sure. And I'm like, in public though? Like I get it if it's in the family and you want it private, but they do this publicly. Like they don't care that people are watching. And I'm like, what is that? So, and that's what I see in women. That's especially with the sororities. The sororities especially did that. And then the fraternities also did that. But the sororities especially, I noticed they really did that. Fraternities too, but the sororities really did. So the women are just like, so they don't research. If they research, they would be like, yo, A plus, A plus, A plus. Just like Min researches. So he knows in his application that's an A plus, that's an A plus, that's an A plus, that's an A plus, that's an A plus. Self portrait A plus. He knows because he researches. These girls don't know. They're doing it right. They just don't know that they're doing it right. So when people question them, they're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Even though you're doing it right. Gotta research, right? So that people don't push you around. So what is you're girly, you get pushed around because you don't research. So that you don't stand firm and go, no, it's right. Calling men is right. Being motherly, being sisterly, being a girlfriend is right. You need to research so that you can stand firm. So people question, oh, you're being too girly. Right? They're flimsy. And they just fall apart. Even though there are so many evidence, but that's research. There's so much evidence that you're right. Right? People who are good to their moms, good to their sisters, good to their girlfriends, they live happier lives. That's research. Right? Research it. Like, hey, people who are good to their moms, what are they like? People who are good to their sisters, or boys, good to their sisters, what are they like? Boyfriends who are good to their girlfriends or wives, husbands to their wives, what are they like? Whoa, they have happier lives. They become good people. So you don't need religion. I was like, oh, wait a second. We don't need religion anymore. All we need are women. Right? People who are good to women tend to come out to be good people. Don't need religion anymore. Don't need God. Jesus, for example, was good with his mom. He forgave a prostitute. He was good with women. And he became a good person. So that's where I'm at, where I'm just not a good woman enough. The thing with me is I just don't care. So we're all women. How you become a boy is you have this attitude that you just don't care as a girl. So we're all American Caucasian girls, all of us. It's just more natural for speaking English. It's more natural for the brain to speak clear English. That's why we're all American Caucasian girls. Girl and like caring and kindness. So just like physics, you're always gonna come alive. You're always gonna be an American Caucasian girl. All humans will become American Caucasian girls. Always. But within that, you get the freedom to pass fail. And that's how race and gender comes about. You get to pass fail within that because you're going to eventually go back to being yourself anyways. So within that test, you get to pass fail. And with me, I'm not caring and sensitive and kind. As you can see, people are like, Min is ruthless, man. He's talking about Charlie's brothers. He's attacking Charlie's brothers and saying it's their fault and he doesn't want them to fail, so he's calling them out. Min is ruthless, man, like ruthless. And I am. And I need to learn how to talk more caringly and more sensitive. Because I can really hurt them if I speak insensitively. So I call them out, yes, but I soften it with, I don't want you to fail. That's the reason why I'm calling you out, right? You failed with Charlie. I don't want you to fail again. So I soften it. Yes, I'm angry, I'm calling them out, but I try to be more caring like a woman would and be more sensitive and say, it's because I don't want you to fail again. It's okay to fail one time, right? It's just preschool. But don't fail again, right? I'm trying to stop that. So Min is ruthless, right? And that's how I became a boy. Most of the girls who are like just ruthless, they become boys. And you see how boys behave. And what it is for me is I just don't care. I don't care about anything. I don't care about my mom, my sisters. I don't care about fun, education, love, humor. This is just me personally. I don't care about my pedigree. I don't care about and humor is not like it's a time specific. It's general. Like there are other kids who are very good at humor too. Like Disney's very good at humor, Nickelodeon, Nintendo, like they're good at humor too. So it's very general. It's just, that's what these kids are good at. These kids. So time is in these kids of humor. Same with love, same with education or intelligence. Other kids have that as well, right? It's just, at this school, it just happened to blossom. So other kids can know, it's like, oh, you're good at humor, me too. We can learn from each other like that. Or you're good at love, or you're good at intelligence. Like let's work together, like help each other blossom. And then we can learn from other groups. So I just wanted to add that. So yeah, with me personally, I just don't care about anything. So I'm a American Caucasian girl born in Vietnam because I'm Vietnamese. And again, I'm not good at womanhood, and I need to get better at that. I'm not good at representing my nation of Vietnam. So that's another thing. Vietnam, they're not good at marketing themselves. Or India, or the Middle East, or wherever. They're not good at marketing themselves. Or Egypt even. Why would you want to market yourself as a bad person? So I'm not marketing womanhood good enough. And I'm not marketing Vietnam because I'm from Vietnam. And my siblings are from Vietnam because I'm the leader. we're not representing Vietnam good enough, and that's what saddens me. So my professors have their interests, and this is my interest, just personally. I'm not representing womanhood, woman life good enough, and I'm not representing Vietnam life good enough. There's not enough representation in the media that represents Vietnam the way I want to see it. Right now, it's just Vietnam War. That's all you know, and you might know pho, the soup that we have, but you don't know the other cuisines. We don't the other dishes, Vietnamese dishes that we have. You don't know Vietnamese culture. You don't know what Vietnamese potential. I'm always about potential. Vietnamese potential could be. So I want to represent that. Even though I'm an American Caucasian girl, I'm born in Vietnam. So that's something personal to me. And my time siblings gotta know that you're born in Vietnam. Because I'm the leader. You're born in Vietnam. Um so yeah, and then another, again, with the thing personal to me with the womanhood Vietnam, another thing personal to me is I just don't care. That's how I became a boy. So womanhood, Vietnam, and boy. I just don't care. I don't care what happens to me, and I don't. You see how they left me here? I just don't care. What DeRosa did to me, I don't care. Nicole did to me, I don't care. The Egyptians did to me with God, I don't care. I just don't care, and that's personal to me. That's not the humor that every kid has or whatever. What's personal to me, like what's personal to Kimberly, what's personal to Kinsey, what's personal to Carly, what's personal to me is I just don't care. I don't care about my education. I don't care. That's why for 18 years I didn't care. I did my own research. I just don't care. And it's not one of those things where, oh, I'm born that way and I'm stuck that way. It's one of those things where it's like a rubber band where you need to start plucking at it and see where that takes you in life. Right? You need to change. Right? The reason why you become a boy is you need to change. You can't stay this way your whole life, right? So the entire world was plucking at you and you stayed this way. Right? Like Nicole and DeRosa and Egyptians, the whole world was plucking at you to change and you just stayed that way. You need to change. You need to change. So that's what the boy body represents, or ethnic body represents. You are very stubborn. You need to change. Right? So that's what I'm working on myself. I can be very stubborn. I don't care. It's eternity. I don't care. I don't care if it's not eternity. You know, it's like, man, DeRosa just wasted your life, and after you die, there's nothing left. I don't care. You know, that's just my attitude. I just don't care. And it saddens me, just like for my sports science professor, where it saddens her that they're using insensitive names. It saddens me that I don't care. That's why um, I want to. That's why I don't want to encourage that attitude. That's why I'm encouraging um, Tin and Huang and Tao. I know Tao with Buddha is like life is meaningless, right? And tying stuff like that's why I did all this stuff to them, and they just don't care. It's like we don't care. Right? That's the attitude I see in them. They're like, do whatever you want. We don't care. And that's the same attitude I have, and I'm trying to change that. Right? Care. Just like the moms, right? Like Colleen and Kelly, they want to be moms to these kids, and they care, right? And Greek life, they care, and girlfriends, they care, right? You want to see what they're doing and then copy that. But especially learn from yourself, learn your attitude. Like, man, I just don't care. I need to change that. That's why I bring up video games. That like a video game, you're not changing the world. You just care about a video game. Yeah, start small. Start small. Start with a video game or your interests. So that's why I wanted to focus on Madden, just to care about something, anything, care, just freaking care, right? That's what girls, moms, and girlfriends, and like, you boys just don't care about anything. Care, find something and care about it, right? So that's why I take on video games. Like, it's simple, it's very easy, and they're like, that's a dumb thing to care about, but at least he's caring, at least he's trying, right? So that's why, with Greek life and Pacific, like Ivy League's, like, men, why do you care? You're hecka smart. Why do you care about Pacific students and Greek life? Because I'm trying to care. I'm learning how to care. Yes, it's stupid, and yes, it's probably meaningless, but when you practice caring, you practice becoming a woman. So I want to care. So that's why I'm trying to care about Madden. Even though it's just sports again, and it's such a boy thing to care about, but at least I'm caring. I'm trying. And then it branches to, caring about my girlfriend, Naomi Kyle, or caring about my only child, my Captain McNamara. So it's like, Min really cares about Captain McNamara because I'm trying really hard to care. Because growing up, I didn't care. Like, sisters, I don't care. Brothers, siblings, family, I don't care. Friends, I don't care. I don't care. So having an only child in Captain McNamara, it forces me to care. Like, that's my only child. I want to care. So for DeRosa and Nicole and the Egyptians, care. Right? You see the Egyptians trying to care about Jesus. They're starting. So Nicole doesn't care about anything. Doesn't care about babies, doesn't care about boyfriends, doesn't care. Care. Find something to care about. Something simple. Doesn't have to be love, doesn't have to be something big. Find something simple to care about. A video game you like. Care. DeRosa, same thing. Care. Like, I don't care what happens to men. Care. Practice caring. Same with Huang and the multiverse. Like, we don't care what happens to men. Care. Practice. So, so that's what I'm working on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me see if there's anything else. I remember I gave away a book. I donated a book in like 3rd grade, 4th grade, and I cried about it. It was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly book. I used to donate books because to get my parents to stop making us read. I used to just donate it to the school. But I donated this book that I really liked, and then I cried about it in like 3rd or 4th grade. That's when my acting really kicked off. I really enjoyed acting. I mean, it was a real emotion, but I know I'm doing it on purpose. I know I'm crying on purpose. Because I wanted to feel what that's like. To care about something and to miss something. Because no one taught me that. Like, no one taught me to care. So I taught myself with the book. I gave away the book and I'm like, I really like that book. And I cried about it. So I taught myself how to care. And so um caring about the world. Which is what my Pacific admissions was about, just caring about the world. So yeah, so for all the Pacific officers out or admissions officers, like, how did you learn how to care? Like, who taught you how to care? Of course, it was on television and stuff, but I taught myself how to care because no one was teaching that. It wasn't taught in school. It wasn't. Um, it was pretty basic on TV and stuff and movies. Um, but there was no real life class to teach me. And I wanted real experience. So I donated a book and I cried about it and it taught me how to care. So that's where caring for the world came from. It's like crying over a book. Um, so I know Nicole is like, why are you crying over a boy? Boys don't matter. She needs to really practice caring. She's out of touch with womanhood, with being a woman. She's out of touch. Um, so yeah, those are the things. Those are the things that I plan. My PhDs that I plan to work on. My 8 years plan is to market education, to really focus on marketing education as something fun. And then those are the issues I'm going through. Being more womanly. Um, I don't know what the other ones are, and caring more, learning how to care, and yeah, just being more womanly, and yeah, caring more, which is my personal issue. So out of the womanly issues, my personal issue is I just don't care. I don't care what happens to me. I don't care about the world. I just don't care. And I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to change. All right. I'm trying to change to become a more caring person. That's just a personal issue of mine. I just don't care. You can see Catherine, she cares a lot, and my moms, they care a lot. So that's a strength. They can work on, being more of a boy or not caring. You can change to that. So if you're born a girl, you probably care a lot. Um, so yeah, those are the things I'm working on. So my PhDs, um, marketing, education as president for 8 years, and then my personal issues, being more womanly, and my personal issue of not caring, so being more caring. Um, so those are the three things that I'm working on, and that's me.